Secco sinks Rome to the ground, and the truth about Bruno Bucciarati is officially revealed. An epic battle ensues in this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind, my friends, as Ciccolata and Secco unleash the power of their stands, Green Day and Oasis. This was an incredibly badass episode of JoJo, and it also revealed a pretty big fact about Bruno Bucciarati and why he's been sustaining all of this damage, yet he hasn't been bleeding from it. So I'm going to go ahead and put up that spoiler warning now if you haven't watched this episode, because there is a massive revelation right here. But most of this episode was Giorno and his gang having to battle against Secco and Ciccolata, with Ciccolata still using his stand Green Day to cover all of Rome in a massive mist of mold. But we finally got to see Secco in action, who has a very unique stand, which, according to the subtitles, is called Sanctuary, but of course I went to the wiki, and apparently in the original manga version, his stand is known as Oasis, and his stand actually allows him to sort of basically swim around in any object. Basically, he can jump into the earth and swim around like it's actually water. He also has the ability to make things sink into the very earth itself, so basically he can turn solid objects into liquid. And this is actually kind of the perfect type of ability, as he's able to perfectly work with Ciccolata, because since he can make things sink down to a lower elevation, he can use that so that Ciccolata's stand can immediately infect them with his mold. It's a pretty dangerous stand, and seeing it in action, I have to say, is pretty freaking awesome. But what I love about it is just the way that it's actually shown. First with Mista and Bruno trying to go up a set of stairs which slowly start to sink, or when he's actually swimming through the ground, you can actually sort of see his trail as it's pushing up all of these bricks as he's making his way towards his opponents. But this is when we get this big revelation where he goes after Bruno Bucciarati, and Bruno decides to jump over the side of this ledge so that he can trick him as he comes out from the side so that he can attack him with sticky fingers. Now this is a really surprising and exciting scene. Exciting because I love seeing Bruno use sticky fingers when he jumps over the side and he just absolutely laces into Secco's face. But what's really surprising here is that Bruno actually jumps down to a lower elevation, but he doesn't end up getting attacked by the mold. And this is something that Secco actually notices, so he decides to call Ciccolata on his cell phone, and they have a conversation about the fact that will his stand actually work on something that is potentially dead or immortal. He specifically asks him if his stand would actually work on Notorious B.I.G., a stand which is activated when its user is dead, and it's essentially immortal at that point. They also clarify that, again, his mold will only work on living objects, so it's not actually going to affect anything inanimate, and it's not affecting Bruno as well. So that's when we get the big reveal. So, apparently back in that big event where Bruno was seemingly attacked by the leader of Passione Diavolo and his stand King Crimson, Bruno apparently died in that moment, and he is officially dead at this point. Yet, how is he able to actually still be alive here, and why can he sustain damage, not be attacked by mold, and not even have blood inside of his body? It's all actually connected to Giorno's stand, Golden Experience. Apparently in that moment, Golden Experience is somehow bringing life to Bruno's body and allowing him to continue with some form of consciousness, but because of that, he actually is still considered something that is dead. Hence why he's not being able to be attacked by Ciccolata and Green Day. It's remarkably interesting, and it makes me want to look back on every scene to see if there were any other clues to go to this. But wow, not only is this just a massive revelation, but it also shows how incredibly powerful Golden Experience is. Not only does it have the ability to basically transform things into other things, but it can quite literally imbue life into a dead body, allowing it to keep its consciousness. But it actually, over time, looks like that Bruno is eventually going to lose himself. Like, it looks like he's starting to lose feeling in his body and his skin, almost as if his entire body is actually starting to shut down. This is something something that he recognizes himself, but before he can go any further into that, suddenly yet again they are attacked by Ciccolata and Secco as they are in a helicopter, attacking another town, causing all of the citizens to immediately disintegrate into giant, moldy, gushy messes. It's so freaking insane, and it looks like Giorno and Mista are going to be battling against Ciccolata, and it looks like Bruno is going to be going up against Secco. I loved the final scene, too, where it looks like Ciccolata was trying to escape with his helicopter, and Giorno was actually able to combine his Golden Experience abilities with Mista's, where he fired his gun while holding it at the same time with him, and when these bullets went into this building, they were suddenly activated with Golden Experience, causing these vines to grow out and grab onto this helicopter. And Bruno going up against Secco, I think, is also going to be great. The way that they showed off how incredibly insane he is in this episode, I just can't wait to see how this battle goes down. So what's the rundown on this episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind? This was just another incredible episode. The creativity of this series knows no bounds, and it always manages to surprise me in the best way possible. And I'd go as far as to say that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure has absolutely the greatest villains of all time. I mean, just every single one manages to be incredibly quirky, creative, and just as dangerous as the last. And Ciccolata and Secco are really taking the cake for how incredibly insane they are, but this episode did a great job of just showing how crazy Secco truly is. Secco is essentially Ciccolata's pet. He's like his very own personal dog. He even sort of like acts like one, walking around on all fours, and whenever he does something good, he gets a treat. But what I love is how his skills actually go beyond his actual stand abilities. Yes, he can transform solid objects into like water or watery objects, allowing him to swim through them, but he's also able to deflect Mista's bullets by spitting something at them. I'm guessing it's like rubble or something that he actually takes from the ground, but whenever Mista tries to shoot him like multiple times, he can actually sort of like deflect every single attack so perfectly, and he also seems to be pretty strong in his very own right, taking multiple punches from sticky fingers as well. But overall, he comes across as a very crazy and insane character when compared to Ciccolata, who, while is also crazy as an insane, definitely comes across as a little more stable. Secco truly is almost like an animalistic kind of character, and I can't wait to see how Bruno is actually going to battle against someone like that. And Bruno, of course, being confirmed that he's actually truly dead but still alive thanks to Golden Experience, I just couldn't have called that. I had no idea like anything like that was going on. I mean, it was very clear that there was something wrong with Bruno, and I knew that they were building up to something like that, but I never expected that it was anything like this, and it shows how farther they can actually go with Giorno's abilities. Otherwise, this was another action-packed and insane, super awesome episode of the series. Cannot praise it enough. I'm giving it another 5 out of 5. You guys need to check out the episode, and I would love to get your thoughts about it in the comment section below. What did you think about the battle against Ciccolata and Secco? What about the introduction of Secco proper? What do you think of his overall stand abilities? How is Bruno actually going to be able to defeat him with sticky fingers? And how are Giorno and Mista going to take down Ciccolata and Green Day? Let's just get a discussion going about this episode in the comment section below. So thank you all for watching this review. I'll see you all next time, and as always, stay down there, baby.